In 2011, Google dropped a bombshell, a brand new social network, a Facebook killer, a platform so important that Google viewed it as existential to the company. And yet, just 8 years later, it shut down in a quiet, almost embarrassing collapse. This is the story of Google+, how one of the world's most powerful companies poured everything into a social network and still fell short. To understand why Google went so hard on social networking, we need to go back to the early 2010s. Google was already the gateway to the internet. By the early 2000s, the word Google had become a verb. Nobody ever said, "I'm going to Yahoo it." But by 2010, things were changing. Facebook was exploding, Twitter was becoming mainstream, mobile apps were taking over, Instagram, Angry Birds, they were opening up a world of possibility. And Google was worried. Search, its flagship product, was getting flooded with low-quality content farms, sites pumping out huge amounts of low-quality articles purely to take advantage of Google's algorithm. This was a major problem. If Google couldn't provide quality search results, the very foundation on which the company was built, it could quickly lose relevance. Meanwhile, Facebook crossed 500 million users, and people were posting tens of millions of photos and status updates every day. Social was the future, and Google wasn't part of it. The cultural impact of Facebook was impossible to ignore, so much so that in 2009, there were rumors of filming at Harvard University for a biographical film about the founding of the company. Internally at Google, this was a big problem. They knew the social wave was coming, and if they didn't catch up, they risked being left behind. So in 2010, Google went all in. They launched a secret project, Project Emerald C. Before this, Google had already dabbled in social networking with mixed results. There was Orkut, launched in 2004 as a passion project by a Google engineer. It became wildly popular in Brazil and India, but globally it was overshadowed by Facebook's rapid growth. Then came Google Buzz in 2010, a social layer built right into Gmail. On paper, it sounded clever. Share updates, photos, links with your contacts. In reality, it was a privacy nightmare. Buzz automatically made you follow the people you emailed most. Your private contact list became public. Anyone could see who you were frequently communicating with, inadvertently exposing sensitive relationships. People were furious, and backlash was immediate. Buzz would shut down in less than 2 years, but it was clear almost immediately after launch that it was a mistake. This time, no more half measures, no more quick fixes. Google was treating social as existential. Vic Gundotra, an engineer and executive who'd spent around 15 years at Microsoft before joining Google in 2007, was put in charge. Secrecy ramped up. Special rooms, restricted access, invitation-only demos. Google, the company famous for openness and transparency, went full Apple for this project. This wasn't just a product, this was Google fighting for its future. On the 20th of June 2011, Google+ launched, and the internet went into a frenzy. Joining the social network was invitation only, and within a week, Google had added $20 billion to its market value. Within 2 weeks, 10 million users had signed up, and 1 billion items were being shared every day. It appeared Facebook's worst nightmare had begun. Google+ had some genuinely good ideas. Circles, a simple but powerful concept. Don't share your posts with everyone, but instead choose exactly which group of people gets to see it. Hangouts was a group video chat feature that allowed 10 people to join a call at the same time, and Sparks was a feed of articles and videos tailored to your interests. Google pushed it everywhere. The famous +U link was added to its top navigation bar across various services, and it looked like Google was finally getting social right. But then the problem started. It seemed to resemble Facebook a bit too much. A running joke at the time was, it's Facebook with video chat, only it doesn't have any people on it yet, so it's not as useful. So the hype got everyone to sign up, but the engagement, not so great. People weren't posting, communities weren't forming, and soon enough people started calling Google+ a ghost town. While Google had attempted to keep the project secret, an anonymous employee had leaked information on the Q&A site Quora in late 2010. Zuckerberg would later rally his employees by invoking an ancient battle cry of the Roman Empire, Carthago delenda est, Carthage must be destroyed. It likely wasn't a coincidence that soon after the introduction of Google+, Facebook launched Smart Lists, a feature that automatically grouped friends into categories such as work, school, or city. But if there was one thing that truly turned people against Google+, it was this: forced integration. Suddenly, to post a comment on YouTube, you had to use your Google+ profile. YouTube comments are a world of their own, whether it's humor, randomness, or being a troll. There's always been a culture of no inhibition. So the moment Google said, "We're going to attach your real name to all of that," millions of users collectively went, "Absolutely not." Even if you weren't trolling, people hated the idea. Google was now enforcing a strict real names policy, and entire communities who relied on pseudonyms for privacy, for safety, for self-expression were getting their accounts suspended. This wasn't just a product decision anymore. It felt like Google was messing with the culture of the internet. And then April 2014 happened. Vic Gundotra, the executive leading Google+, announced his departure from Google. To many inside the company, this was a clear signal that the platform had lost its momentum. Growth had slowed, engagement numbers were slipping, and across the organization, frustration was building over the forced integration of Google+ into countless other Google products. Then the leaks started, whispers that Google was quietly pulling resources away from Google+, that teams were being reassigned to higher priority projects, especially mobile, which was exploding at the time. And there was another sting in the air. Facebook had just bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. Inside Google, people couldn't help but feel they had missed a massive opportunity, maybe the opportunity to stay relevant in social. The grand dream, the idea of Google+ as this unified social layer across everything Google built, was being dismantled piece by piece. Teams who were once told Google+ was existential to the company were now hearing a very different message. Google+ was no longer central to Google's future. Following Gundotra's departure, Google+ began to change course. Throughout 2014 and 2015, the company separated many of its features into independent products. Hangouts became its own messaging and video platform. Google Photos was launched as a standalone service, one that would eventually become one of Google's most successful products. And Google+ itself shifted focus, leaning into communities built around shared interests rather than personal connections. For a subset of users, this was a positive move. It placed less emphasis on real-world identity and more on discovering people with similar passions. Google+ no longer resembled a traditional social network, and it wasn't trying to compete directly with Facebook anymore. But by this point, mainstream users had already left. The perception of Google+ as a ghost town was widespread, and active users continued to decline. A common question summed it up: does anyone even use Google+ anymore? And then came the final blow. In 2018, Google+ didn't just stumble, it collapsed under the weight of two major data breaches. First, it came out that a bug in the Google+ API had quietly allowed third-party apps to access user information that was supposed to be private. Names, email addresses, profile details, affecting up to 500,000 users. But the real scandal wasn't the bug itself. It was the cover-up. According to an internal memo, Google knew about the issue for years, from 2015 all the way up to 2018, but chose not to disclose it because of the reputational damage it would cause and the immediate regulatory interest it would invite. And if that wasn't bad enough, just months later, in November 2018, Google revealed another API bug. This time, the data of 52.5 million users was exposed. At that point, Google+ wasn't just struggling, it was a liability. Google had already planned to shut the platform down, but after the breaches, they accelerated the timeline. What was supposed to close in August 2019 was moved up to April, and Google didn't sugarcoat it. In its announcement, the company openly admitted what everyone already suspected. Google+ never achieved broad adoption, user engagement was low, developers weren't building for it. In other words, it was over. Google+ shut down on the 2nd of April 2019, but for many people today, Google+ still conjures up a sense of nostalgia. They remember the communities, the niche groups, the friendships built around shared interests, and its legacy lives on. Google+ Photos became Google Photos, one of the company's flagship services. Hangouts eventually evolved into Google Meet, and the idea of building around niche communities and interests continues to be a big part of many products and services. Google Plus didn't become the Facebook killer it set out to be, but its legacy endures, both in the products it inspired and in the way it shaped the internet as we know it today.